What's going on, ghosties? We are Tales of Spooky Coffee House. Welcome back to our podcast. If you're new here, thanks for joining us. We are your hosts. I'm Veronica.
And I'm Chelsea.
So, how are you doing, Chelsea?
I've been busy.
Busy.
Yeah, ghosties, if you've noticed, we skipped 2 weeks. I just moved, started a new job, got my girls started a new school, just all new everything. So it's been hectic and trying to get on a new routine and also including Veronica into that routine to record has just been like a nightmare. It's been a nightmare.
You better make time for us.
I will always make time for us, but yeah. So it's been a hectic week. How have you been?
I've been good. I got my ears pierced. I already had 2 holes in my ears on each one, but the second one closed, so I only had 1 hole. So then I got the second one redone, and I got my cartilage pierced.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it's called? And now I
Yeah.
can't sleep at night, so yay me.
Low key, that's the reason I haven't finished my ears yet.
Because of the healing
Not being
process
able
or
to
what?
sleep. Yeah. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I want to be able to sleep like whatever way that I want to, and if I finish my ears the way that I want to, it's like I have to give some to get some.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember the first time I got my my cartilage pierced, was when I was staying with Nana and you were there. And I
Mm-hmm.
slept pretty good, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But this time around it's a little harder just because I'm more like anxious about it because I want them to heal properly because that was my issue the first time around.
Gotcha.
But I am gonna go for a third on the lobe.
It's funny because I sleep on my stomach, right? And I always thought that my nipples were going to be the hardest thing to get pierced.
Oh.
Yeah, TMI, ghosties. But actually, that was like my ears.
Now you tell them.
Yeah, my ears were the worst thing ever compared to like any other piercing that I've got. Because like I've had my lips done, my tongue, my ears. Yeah, the ears are the worst healing for me personally, like in my opinion.
I can't think about, first of all, I can't sleep on my stomach. Second of all, I can't even imagine getting a tongue piercing. Like, oh,
I didn't
my
even
mouth is
feel it.
salivating. Ugh, no, I
I
can't.
actually like the piercer when I got my tongue done. I was I think it was for my 16th birthday party, like my 16th present for my mom, and no, it was 17. I was 17, and he put the needle through and I didn't see it, and then he like took the clamp off, and I was like gonna ask him like, are you not gonna do it? And the needle poked my lip. And he was like, yeah, there's still a needle in your mouth. And I was like, oh, didn't feel it at all.
No, I don't care. No.
Yeah. The only time I
No.
felt it was when it swelled up and I had a lisp.
LOL.
I was
Dude,
talking like that the whole time.
I can't. I remember one time in high school, freshman year, this girl that I will not name, she took a bathroom break, like she went to the restroom, she came back, and I remember this is like in my like math class. I forgot what kind of math, but it was math class. And she came back in and she had pierced her tongue in the bathroom.
In the bathroom?
In the bathroom. She also, like on a different occasion, she pierced her own septum in the
Ooh.
bathroom. Yeah, so I don't know, you just
I'm
kind
not
of sparked those memories up.
I'm not gonna lie. I've re-pierced my lips a couple of times myself in the bathroom with something that wasn't an actual needle. So I get it. But at school I don't get that. Like I need gloves and
I
disinfectant and
mean, another memory is uh senior year. My friends, I was a teacher's aide for one of my electives because, you know, it's just a free period or whatever.
Yeah,
And I was really
same.
cool with the teacher. I had a good relationship with her. I finished grading the paperwork, so she let me like wander off. And
Mm-hmm.
so I went to the ceramics class, and that teacher was pretty cool. So he let me like come in and just hang out. And while I was in there, my friend, who I will also not name, she pierced my ears with just a needle, just like a sewing needle, in ceramics class, you know, and that didn't
Lovely.
last, but uh,
Interesting.
we're
The
we're
things that
interesting
we do to
people.
our bodies. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. I also watched Saltburn. Have you watched it?
No. What
Have
is
you
it?
heard of it?
No.
You haven't heard of Saltburn? Okay, so Z, if you're listening to this, you know. I slept over Z's house Monday night and we watched this movie called Saltburn. Now, I'm not going to explain it because I was really high, and at many points throughout the movie, I had to look over at Z and ask her, whose house are we in now? You know, like what's going on? It's a trippy movie. It's a trippy movie. I'm sorry you haven't watched it, therefore we can't talk about it. So moving on. Do you want to get us
But
started on our first segment?
what the fuck?
I can't explain that movie. It's pretty much about this guy who meets this other guy and wants to like become friends with him, and he finds a way to like become friends with him, and so he tells the guy that he's not really comfortable being in his own home. And so the boy he met was is really really like really rich. Like they literally live in a castle, and invited him to move in. So this weird boy moved in, okay, and starts seducing everyone in that house, literally seducing everybody in that house. And at one point, I think they got in an argument, and so then the weird boy told him, "Oh, I just got a call from my mom. My dad just passed away." And so then it goes to the rich boy wanting to help weird boy out by forcing him to he tricked him. He tricked him in the car, told him they were going somewhere, but in reality, Rich Boy was taking Weird Boy to his mom's house to try to fix their situation and their relationship. Little did Rich Boy and us, the viewers, know his parents are actually very lovely people. His dad is still alive. And so then Rich Boy wonders why he lied. He's so weird for that, right? And so then Weird Boy starts like killing all these freaking characters one by one until it's just like the parents in the house. Anyways, fast forward, Weird Boy meets up with the mom in a coffee shop. How am I doing, Chelsea? How am I doing?
I'm not gonna lie, you lost me 4 minutes ago. I've just been letting you talk, hoping that I was gonna be able to like understand what you were saying. All I got was rich
Oh,
boy and
okay.
weird boy.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do, ghosties. Chelsea's gonna edit a lot of that out.
No, I'm gonna keep it all. I'm gonna keep it
No,
all.
no, because if I lost you, I lost them.
I know,
So what's the
but then you
point?
get this because then you get this hilarious interaction where we're like, yeah, we're doing this. So, anyways, we're gonna talk about the true crime topic of the week. And we're gonna talk about the controversial crimes of Marianne Bachmeier.
Yes, please.
So, Veronica, I know you don't have kids, okay? But if somebody hurt your kid, what are the lengths that you would go?
It depends what kind of hurt. Um, if it's physical hurt, I'd probably want to get physical with their parents.
See, all I can think of is Dean Winchester when Sam asked him what would happen if, like, what he would do if somebody hurt his car, and he's just like, murder.
Murder, 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 murder. No,
Yeah.
I don't
Do you
think
remember that
I
scene?
honestly. No,
Oh,
I don't ever see myself murdering anyone. I don't have it in me to do that. I don't think I do. So I would never go to that extent. Will I throw some punches? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I could.
We'll see. So Marianne Bachmeier was born on June 3rd of 1950. She grew up in a small town in West Germany where her parents had fled from East Prussia after the Second World War. Okay? She was raised in a very conservative home with devoutly religious parents. Her father, despite them being very religious, was a stereotypical authoritative figure, but he was also a heavy drinker who spent most of his time in a bar.
Of course.
The Yeah, so this made the household like not pleasant. He was aggressive when he was drunk. Her parents ended up divorcing and her mother later remarried. But
Hmm.
Marina, or what, how did I pronounce her name the first time? Marion?
I don't know.
I don't fucking know. Ghosties, I'm not German. We're Marina, Marion, whatever.
It
Was
looks
she
like
was
Marion or
Yeah,
Marianne.
right. Right. So Marion was
Marianne. Sorry. Sorry, go ahead.
not us trying to fucking pronounce shit after we said we're not gonna stress over it.
Go ahead, go ahead.
So Marion was perceived as a troubled kid, and she says that this, like, her description of herself as a kid was based off of a dictatorial stepfather, and a mother who eventually kicked her out. So she, like, was trying to, like, be, like, this is their opinion of me. But she had her first child in 1966 when she was 16 that she placed up for adoption. She later became pregnant again at 18 by her boyfriend at the time, and she was repeated. I guess I should let me give a trigger warning, ghosties, okay? Because this is where the trauma starts. Um, she was repeatedly raped right before the birth of her second child, and the trauma of that made her place the baby up for adoption. In 1972, she began to date the manager of a pub that she worked at, and she became pregnant for the third time at the age of 22. On November 14th of 1972, her third child, Anna, was born, and she raised her alone. As a result, because the father stepped out on them, she would take Anna to work at the pub, and she pretty much like stayed in the bar all night working because she didn't feel the need to go home because her daughter was there with her. This really made people perceive her as like a partier and a neglectful mother, and a lot of like documentary films too will portray her as a single mother who like worked a lot, slept during the day, and would basically like leave her daughter alone.
Hmm.
For her sake, Marion was aware of her problematic lifestyle. She did consider putting Anna, which is her, I think I said her daughter's name. She did consider putting her up for adoption because of the fact that her daughter would sleep at the pub for most nights, but for some reason it never happened. So on May 5th of 1980, when Anna was 7 years old, her and her mother got into an argument and she skipped school. This
At
is the day
7?
yeah, 7.
Mm.
Like I said, like her mother was basically like leaving her alone. She was basically like a little adult at 7 years old.
Yeah.
So on this day, Anna would be abducted by 35-year-old Klaus Grabowski. Yeah, she had visited him a few times before to play with his cats because, what 7-year-old doesn't like cats? When he abducted her, he held her for several hours. Ghosties, another trigger warning. He would continue to sexually assault her and ended up strangling her with a pair of his fiance's tights. Later, according to the prosecutor, he would then tie her up and pack her into a box, which he would leave on the shore of a canal. In a turn of events, it would actually be his fiance who turned him into the police later on.
I was about to ask about like the fiance.
Yeah. She turned him in. She had no idea about like all of this, and when she found out, like she did the right thing.
Hmm.
Here's the kicker, okay? Grabowski was a convicted sex offender who had been previously sentenced for sexual abuse of 2 girls. In 1976, he voluntarily submitted to chemical castration, but it was later revealed that he underwent hormone treatment to reverse this. Okay, this is important for later. According to him, he stated that Anna wanted to tell her mother that he had abused her to extort money from him, and that his fear of going back to prison is what prompted him to kill her. So in his defense was he didn't sexually assault her, he just killed her because he didn't want to go back to prison. On March 6th of 1981, during the trial, okay, because like I said, like before that was his plea. On March 6th of 1981, this was the third day of the trial. At approximately 10 a.m., Marianne smuggled a gun into the courtroom and fatally shot Grabowski. When she aimed at him, she fired 7 shots,
Dude,
and
shut the fuck
six of them
up.
hit
No,
him.
wait. No, because wait. Oh my god.
Yes.
Chelsea.
Wait. I got to tell you what her words
No,
were.
wait. No. You don't understand. You don't understand. I was on the phone with Z earlier, okay?
Uh-huh.
And she literally told me, this was today, like a couple hours ago, and she literally told me, "Hey, I know you guys do true crime on your podcast, and I had an idea for you." And I was like, "What's up?" She's like, "Have you heard about that mom that snuck in a gun into the court?" And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. She's wearing a trench coat and
Mm-hmm.
she just pulls out the gun
Yep.
and starts shooting at the guy.
Yep.
Z goes, yeah, that one. You should talk about that one. And I was like, you know what?
I
That is a good one. I'll add that to the list of things for me to talk about or whatever. So the
yeah.
fact that you're fucking talking about this right now, and I just now realized
I've literally had her on my list for the last 2 seasons, and I
I
just
haven't
don't
taken a
know
look at
why.
that
Yeah.
list. I've never looked
Well,
at
you
that
should look at that
list.
list because I have the entire season planned. So if you take my things, I'm going to be upset.
I don't mind last minute changes though.
But yeah, no,
But
I yeah,
anyways,
she's called the Revenge Mother.
yeah. And if you haven't seen that video, look it up.
Yeah.
It's out there. It's
Mhm.
fucking like
It's
your mind's
wild.
gonna
Yeah,
get
it's
blown.
wild.
No pun intended.
Yeah. So after she fatally shot him, she lowered her gun and she didn't resist arrest because like she
Yeah.
knew. This is one of like the most well-known cases of vigilante justice in German history, and it sparked a huge media coverage, especially overseas too, because it begged the question, was her effort to avenge her slain child justified? Like that was what people wanted to know. Like was she justified in her actions? Should she be charged as guilty? There, while she was in custody, a lot of people sent her messages of support, gifts, flowers. They also, because they sold her life story, she was able to pay for her legal costs with the money that she got from the media coverage. Once her life story came out, though, once it was sold and everybody started to realize that she put her first 2 children up to be adopted, the public opinion began to shift because she no longer seemed to fit their innocent mother image that they had deemed her as. Still, a lot of people, like, demonstrated their compassion for her. And because of this, the judiciary was criticized for enabling a man who had previously been convicted of sexually abusing 2 girls to use the hormones in order to regain his libido. So they were heavily criticized for this because obviously they did this for a reason, and yet somebody approved the medication for him to reverse it.
Mm-hmm.
Marion was initially charged in court with murder on November 2nd of 1982, but later the prosecution dropped the murder charge, and after about a month of negotiations, they agreed on manslaughter and an unlawful possession of a firearm. And they agreed that she would spend 6 years in prison, but she was released after serving 3 for good behavior. After she was released, she married a teacher in 1985, and they moved to Nigeria and lived in a German camp where her husband taught at the school. They did divorce in 1990, and then after relocating to Sicily, Marion became employed as an aide in a hospice center. She was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and then she returned to Germany where she spent the last few years of her life. And on September 17th of 1996, she died at the age of 46 from that cancer and was later buried next to her daughter.
Wow. No, I like knowing the full story behind that video now.
No, why? Makes it sad.
No, I said I like it.
Oh, you do like it. I thought you said you didn't like it. I was like, why does it make you sad?
No, I get it. I get it even more.
Right. So, Veronica, in your opinion, was she justified?
Mm, that's a hard one. I want to say no, like, because I would have rather seen that dude, like, rot in hell. or rot in prison pretty much, because once people in prison find out that did anything to a child, you're a target automatically. So that's what I would want.
We had this conversation. I was talking with my mom and her boyfriend at dinner tonight, and I was telling them about the topic that I was going to be talking about. And at first, my mom was like, yeah, she's justified. I would have done the same thing. And then she was like, no, I would have wanted him to go to prison because I would just like make friends with the inmates and make sure that he was tortured for the rest of his life. And I was like, Mom, Jesus.
Yeah, you wouldn't even have to make friends. Like, you could send like a letter to one of the people in that prison to get the word out. So, but I mean, if to her it was justified, then, peace and kudos to her, She knew what she was doing, She didn't fight the cops, arresting her after, her killing the guy. Like,
yeah. I think, too, one of the things that she had said when she shot him was that, quote, I did it for you, Anna.
Aww.
I feel like a part of her didn't know how to not work extensively, but I feel like despite, everyone trying to like turn her into a bad mother, that she did genuinely love her child. And for her, that was probably just her way of showing that to whatever part of her child might still, be out there.
And whatever like people's opinion is on her, like, let's just like agree to like let her and her daughter rest in peace, now that they're together.
Yeah, and that's why like that's why I titled this The Controversial Crime, the crimes of her, because it is very split. Half the people agree, half the people don't, because some people are like, well, she should have just let the justice system, and then other people are like, well, the justice system already failed by letting a sex offender like reverse a castration. So I mean, there's a lot of different viewpoints. So, but yeah, that's my topic. The controversial crimes of Marianne Bachmeier. Do you want to get us started on the paranormal topic of the week?
Yeah, I can't wait to tell Z what happened. Like,
right.
I want to call her. Well, I know she's going to be at work still, but I want to call her so bad and just be like, bro, guess what Chelsea talked about on the podcast today? My paranormal topic of the week is El Fantasma de Tasquena Station. Tasquena, that's a weird one for me, sorry. The ghost of the Tasquena Station, which is located in Mexico. So, although this is going to be quite a short segment, I will be making it up to you with an interesting conspiracy theory later on during our coffee break. So, the ghost that haunts this popular metro station is of a man who tragically lost his life during an assault at this station. The ghost apparently stayed behind to help and protect those from evil assaults. I think that's actually really sweet and yet still sad.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, for sure.
It is also said that the spirit of this man appears at the station during the day, but mostly at night. Some have said to hear footsteps even when there seems to be no one else around. So, question for you and ghosties. If you had the choice to move on, stay behind, or be reincarnated, which would you choose and why?
That's a good one. To be reincarnated, stay behind, or
Move on. Move on.
Or move on. I don't know. A part of me is terrified to move on because like what's on the other side? But also like I'm really tired of living.
Dude, amen.
Like I'm a
sister.
I know, right?
Fucking men, bro. What the facts?
But also I don't want to stay here either, and like
I don't want to stay behind,
I guess
for
I
sure.
would stay as long as I had somebody with me to stay behind. Like,
no, I'd rather move on into the unknown or hope that I'd be like reunited with my loved ones. I would not stay behind. Even if I had kids, I would not stay behind. I'll see them eventually. let them live that good life, and then they could tell me all about it. And to be reincarnated, I wouldn't want any part of my soul to
I don't.
relive in this fucking fucked up world anymore. So
Yeah, I'm already tired of living in this life. I don't want to do the same thing in another life. But also, like, if I did stay behind, I would just like fuck with people.
of course you would. I sometimes wonder, and
Yeah.
this is like a common thought, I sometimes wonder, like, if I am a reincarnated version of myself, like, why would the past soul of mine choose to relive again, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what's the answer? What am I looking for here? Like, is this gonna be like my purpose in life? Or is there like, I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, I have a
Right,
question for
right,
you really
right.
quick. To get us started with
Another
our
one?
coffee break. Yeah. This is to get us
Okay.
officially started on our coffee break.
Oh, okay, okay.
If tomorrow you were to tune in to, my weirdest addiction, if you were to see me on the show, what would be my addiction? My weird addiction.
Pedro Pascal.
Okay.
Everything Pedro Pascal.
Okay. Um, I don't have an answer for you. I was trying to think of one, but like,
Really?
yeah, I don't know. Like murdering people. That's your weird addiction.
That's my weird obsession.
Addiction.
It's not an addiction if I've never done it before.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot we were recording. I shouldn't say that.
But it's you can't have an addiction if you've never done it before.
Moving on. So I promised you guys a conspiracy theory due to my segment being quite short, but kind of bittersweet. You've heard of spirits stay behind and do the worst to people, and this one's literally just trying to protect strangers from, the event that took his life ever happening again. Anyways, the conspiracy theory is the Titanic never hit an iceberg. So, the owner
Oh yeah.
of the Titanic, J.P. Morgan, had two ships, the Olympic and the Titanic, and he
Mm-hmm.
knew that the Olympic was old and rusty, so he switched the names and the colors of the two
Mm-hmm.
ships. The theory argues that he wanted to sink the ship because he'd make a lot of money from it. The theory doesn't stop there, however. Do you know who else was on the ship? All of JP Morgan's business competitors, none of them
Mm-hmm.
who survived the trip. JP Morgan would cancel his trip only a few minutes before the journey began.
Mm-hmm. I've heard
Thoughts?
this theory. I love it.
Thoughts? Thoughts? I'm
I
just kidding.
mean, I just said like I've heard this theory and I love it. I think it's true because I saw all the evidence about how because it started with just like them switching the ships and I was like, "Huh, well like that makes sense." But then they started bringing in names and I was like, "JP Morgan." I was like, "He made a lot of fucking money off of that incident."
Mhm.
And I was like, and then found out that all of his competitors, like you said, were on that ship and he decided to cancel. I was like, "Oh hell no, he planned that shit."
Those two specific pieces of information, the business competitors being on the ship and him
Mhm.
canceling only a few minutes before the ship like began its
Mhm.
journey, like that's what
It's
convinced
sketchy.
me. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
This one's like, and a lot of people have probably heard
There's
about
no
this
way that that's a
conspiracy
coincidence.
or some kind of version of it, but to hear the details, I was like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah, there's no way that there was that big of a coincidence.
yeah. So there you go. That's all I
I
have for you.
like that little transition between like the paranormal and then like let me give you a conspiracy theory to really fuck you up.
Yeah, to really make you wonder. Like,
Mhm.
if you are a thoughtless person,
If you're rich and powerful,
are you saying that the rich and powerful should get like ideas from this? Is that what you're trying to say?
no, it's like the rich and powerful are like they would do shit like this because they are rich and powerful. Who's gonna fucking
Uh,
stop them?
there's so many things that they do that we just know nothing about. And if we
Mm-hmm.
knew what they are up to, I'm sure we'd all go like, it'd be chaos.
Well, not only that, but if we all had the money to do it, we would do the same things. Like, do you know the reason why Donald Trump keeps getting away with not paying his taxes?
No.
Because he's got the money for the lawyers to fight the argument that there is no law stating that we have to pay taxes. There is literally no law that says we have to pay taxes. So if you have the money to pay for lawyers to fight that argument, you will win, which Donald Trump does every single time. The rich and the powerful have a better advantage.
You just gave me an ick.
I gave you an ick?
Yeah.
Why?
Just bringing politics into it.
It's
Ick.
not. It's not even like. It's not really
No, but I
politics.
get it.
It's
I
yeah.
get what you're saying, but still, just hearing that name just gives me the ick. Like,
I know. I hate him so
ick.
much. But when I like, because when he became president, I like started like looking into him more. Because I don't like him because he's a misogynist asshole, and I like. You don't really have to like our president. You know, nobody ever 100% likes somebody, but I was like, I want to know how somebody who keeps getting away with this is made president. And then I started looking into it and I was like understanding. And I'm like, I get it. Because you have the money to fight it. Unfortunately,
Ick.
that's how the world works.
Get us started on segment number 4.
Oh, am I going first? Okay. So the tarot card that I pulled this week, Ghosties, is the Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles really represents like saving money. So we've been talking about goals a lot on the podcast, and so I feel like this is a great way for like look at all these transitions. This is a great way to transition into the next goal of really focusing on money. So while being conservative with money can obviously bring financial stability and security, you don't want to be too frugal, which means that you miss out on all the pleasures that, you know, money can provide. This card suggests that you're hanging on to things from the past that are no longer serving you, and so you really want to like let them go and to not hold you back. So you really want to find that balance of saving and spending, really like letting go of things and being able to move forward. And finances help with that a lot too.
So I love that you got the Four of Pentacles because I pulled the Three of Wands. So, Ghosties, you have a great vision and a big goal that you have been working hard towards, and it seems like your persistence is finally paying off. Now, like Chelsea said, we've talked about taking baby steps this season, and look at us
Mm-hmm.
now making progress.
Mm-hmm.
Although some steps are harder than most, the fact that you're not giving up is going to bring success into your life. So, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Life is full of highs and lows, more lows and highs,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately. So, hang in there, keep moving forward, and you're going to keep seeing progress. I'm seeing progress in my goals. Chelsea, are you seeing progress in your goals? I'm so scared that you're going to say no.
Yes and no. Like so one of
Mhm.
my goals this year was to like just be more active and get into that routine. And I've been doing good for the first month and a half of my goal, but with moving and everything and adjusting to a new routine, even my mom and I, like, we've both been like out of our schedule. She hasn't been meal planning. We haven't been doing our workouts and it's just been like a mess. But I'm still losing
But
weight.
this is the low that we're talking about though.
Yeah.
Like
And we're
you hit
like
certain lows, but
mhm.
there's plenty of room to get back up.
Yeah. And like you know, when you move, especially when you're starting a new job, new schools with the kids and just like all new everything, it's going to take some time to readjust. So, I'm keeping that in mind and I have plans to cuz I really want to make sure that we stay on top of the podcast so we don't take breaks like we just did, at least not to the mid-season finale. But I want to get focused on this. I want to get back into my writing cuz I haven't written in like 3 months now.
Hmm.
And then I really want to add that workout schedule in there too. So I'm doing baby steps, trying to find a routine that works right now and adjust it as needed. So it's like, you know, hurdling that little boulder that life threw at me. So,
Yeah,
and I feel like I'm taking it in stride. So that's the important
that's
part.
good.
Yeah.
It is the important part. It's keeping that mentality.
Mm-hmm.
So usually when I walk a mile, it takes me like 30 minutes to do so.
Mm-hmm.
The other day, I went to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena with my friend to go for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
And if the math is mathin', we did 3 miles in 1 hour walking, just walking.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
I was shook. I
I
was
feel like
shook.
that happens a lot with like parades or any kind of activities like that. Like even if you go to amusement parks, you walk a lot in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
So that's like, I feel like that's a
Oh,
good
yeah.
place to really like step it up. And
I remember when I used to work at Universal Studios. Oh my God, the amount of stairs, the amount of walking I had to do.
mm-hmm.
I'm happy. I literally had to buy Doc Martens for that job.
Mm-hmm.
And I was willing to spend the money because I knew it's a great brand and a lot of people at Universal, like a lot of workers, have those shoes.
Yeah.
And I was scared that they weren't going to be comfortable because, you hear a lot about, oh, I have to break in my Doc Martens, they're so
Mm-hmm.
tight or they're giving me blisters. Nah, dude, those bitches were the best.
Yeah. Speaking of stairs, I feel like that's probably where I'm getting my workout because the amount of times that I've gone up and down these damn stairs in this house is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Dude, that was me when I slept over Z's house. She has a 2-story house now, and when I slept over, oh my God, the first couple times were hard. I was out of breath.
yeah.
But then, like, towards, like, the night, I really started getting used to it, to the point where I was just running up the stairs.
Mm-hmm. Do
It
you
was just fun.
remember when we were in middle school and during PE, we had to run up the front auditorium steps, do burpees, then run back
Mm-hmm.
down, then run back up and do more burpees?
Mm-hmm. Why would you bring that up?
I just, the memory hit
That is
me.
such a traumatizing memory
I
for me.
know. It is for me too. I just thought about that.
So we're gonna end it on that, okay? Because you're done.
We're gonna end it on us being traumatized by me.
And very quickly, Jason, I don't know if you actually listen to this podcast, but shout out to you because I promised you one. Also, thanks for the hug. I didn't know I really needed that. You're sweet for that. Thank you. And Ghosties, thank you so much for joining us this week. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode as much as we did. If so, please make sure to give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok. We are your hosts. I'm Veronica.
And I'm Chelsea.
Have a spooky weekend, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. All late.